Finnish people are more direct because Finnish people are generally also more direct and generally tell you more directly what they think. Whereas when especially with one Japanese quite good friend of mine, but you could never criticize her directly. So that's something you need to, over time, you learn understanding how cultures criticize or not criticize in a way.
I can't tell different negative feedback in person. So those feedback form and the peer assignment would help.
Quite often I find myself defending Finnish values against the real foreigners. So I think actually there's a lot of similarity with the Finnish and the German system and how things work and things are organized.
First of all, I didn't know it's that strict here to do every assignment and follow every deadline. So probably I did a couple of mistakes. Then these mistakes showed me that I actually have to pay more effort, put more effort in doing assignments.
In Asia, we do our assignments mostly 80% assignment by pen and paper, But here, everything is MS Word or in PowerPoint we have to do. So initially I would say that it was a bit tricky to shift everything from pen and paper to digital.
It happened also some cases that was the instruction were not really clear, and then we confused about what we should write about here and which ones we should. Especially when the type of the course is there's not a mathematics course that you should reach to the one answer, but it's like a descriptive work, and then you describe something.
In India, it's more India or even in China, I would say from my friends that it's more about learning by heart. There's a big emphasis in just learning by heart, but here there's no question of learning by heart. It is you analyze everything critically and all. One gross difference is here they expect to analyze things much more critically.
In economics back home, the good student was the guy who had the best memory. The night before, he could just read and just put everything down on the paper that he had read.
If I want really to make a student, get them engaged in all the activities and assignments, I have to explain these background issues. For instance, what are my ideas of pedagogical, or what are my pedagogical ideas behind some assignments? I have to open up those to the students.
Here you have a lot of focus on citation and referring to sources. In Egypt it's more, I shouldn't say flexible because it shouldn't be something like that, but forgiving.
We went through, I went through the rules and regulations, so there also it was mentioned. So I didn't understand it so much because it was so different, from where I came from. But later when the teacher told in class to everyone that these are the things we take care here, I got the point. And then I started asking in the IT room our Finnish students, so they also said this is how we do things here and stuff.
I learned by the mistakes of my friends. This is the primary source for me. Yeah, by the mistakes of my friends and people that I don't even know. Maybe professors didn't give it a lot of attention while they're speaking on it because again it's some kind of, it's already in the Finnish culture, so they shouldn't focus on it a lot. But for me it was something that I had to work on.
And I think there's also a trust in the culture more than in the United States, that maybe they even think that people are gonna, you know, kind of like just not be lazy and copy whole entire text. It could be that.
One of the challenges is that I have noticed that I, in a way, suppose that the students are thinking the same way than I do, or they know how we used to do things in our university. But